18 degrees outside. Monday night football, and if you couldn't hear him there, tonight Mason Crosby is tying Brett Favre's record for most consecutive games, or maybe it's just most primetime games, and I am leaving. So if you don't know, I live right next to the stadium. By the way, this is Vlogmas number 8, I think. So anyways, if you don't know, I live right next to the stadium. And if you don't know, they close a whole bunch of roads during the game. I had a heck of a time finding my way. Like, I am like 3 minutes away from my house at most. And it took me like 20 minutes to get here. But we are heading on a trip in our little rocket ship. Tomorrow, actually. I'm heading down to Cristiano's house. I've got car packed full of stuff. It's gonna be a nice little road trip vlog. It's gonna be fun, so follow along. I'm also filming this video on my brand new iPhone 14 Pro, which is a huge upgrade from the iPhone 6 that I had before. I like to upgrade my phone about once a decade, and I just upgraded. It was free. They sent it to me for nothing. I mean, I had to send them a phone. My phone was too old for the trade-in by like 5 models, but I ended up finding one on eBay that was broken, but it fit the qualifications, so I was able to send it in as a trade-in. So technically it wasn't free, it was like 50 bucks. Well, look who I found.
Hello.
It's the next morning. We got Starbucks and we're heading to the first stop on the list. I got, what did you say this was?
Nice sugar cookie almond milk latte.
Alright, not a coffee person, so let's give it a try. Definitely coffee, but drinkable. And then I also got cheese Danish.
I got the pumpkin cream cold brew and pumpkin bread or banana bread. I don't know, one of them. It'll be delicious.
As soon as she ordered the pumpkin bread, I changed my mind on the Danish. But she says I'll still like the Danish.
It's pretty good.
So we got a lot of driving to do, and it's really cold. And we got like 3 inches of snow overnight. So
Yeah, the highways are clear, which is good. But the first like quarter mile that we drove was not clear, and that's not my favorite.
well, eastbound and down. So I saw a billboard about 10 minutes ago, and we had to make a stop. What did you think of the Christmas Kringle shop?
A lot of really beautiful pieces.
I want exactly that many Christmas trees.
Yeah, it was gorgeous in there. It was just all very much more than I was expecting it would be.
I've driven past this place. It's right on the side of the highway like 100 times, and I've always wanted to stop. They're open year-round, and finally we had an excuse to stop. I just needed to bring the right shopping partner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to the originally planned first stop. So we are about to storm a castle.
For cheese.
For cheese.
There's gonna be so much cheese.
I'm excited.
Me too. No pooping for weeks.
No pooping for months. So what'd you think?
Cheese Castle was crazy. There was so much stuff in there and it was so cool, and I got a little bit overwhelmed because there were just so many things to look at, but all of it was really awesome and we got to go back sometime.
And I spent like $45 on cheese.
I mean, that's a bargain.
Yeah. It's gonna be delicious. One of them was apple cinnamon cheddar.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it. I don't know what to expect.
It could be amazing, it could be terrible, but it's not gonna be anything in between. So I know if you eat an entire bag of those, you get diarrhea. What happens if you eat an entire building of them?
I think it's only the sugar-free ones that give you diarrhea. So as long as you eat some of the regular ones too, you should be fine.
See, folks, sugar's healthy. So, my surprise for lunch, I was expecting, she said, surprise restaurant in Chicago, fancy restaurant. It was so much better. No, they're closed. They must have had like a flood or something. There was a sign for a restoration company on there, and all the tables were stacked up.
I'm sorry.
This is all your fault.
Probably. I should have known.
Yep. Should have called ahead and made a reservation. New plan. We saw this driving past. Hot dogs, beef, and burgers. I just want beef. Thoughts?
I'm so confused.
So about every minute or so, she finds something else here and gets even more confused.
They have a part-time DJ at night, because why not? It's they also have a drive-thru and just like this truck.
So I got a burger. I should have opened it, but a chili cheese dog. She got a Chicago dog. Well, what'd you think?
I think it was pretty good. It was so weird. So weird in there.
I enjoyed the atmosphere quite a bit. The food was, I didn't dislike it. I wasn't too impressed by it. The burger tasted and fries tasted like typical fast food burger and fries. The chili cheese dog was good. It's one of those places where if I'm hungry and there's one right there, I'd go again, but I don't think I'd specifically be excited about traveling down here to stop there.
Yeah, I feel like it is very much an ambiance thing. So like, if there was a special event that wasn't something that you wanted to spend a lot of money on, like a kid's birthday or I don't know, but like some thing that you want to acknowledge. His arm's hurting, making him hold this longer. Something that you want to acknowledge, but not necessarily like something huge where you're going to like go all out. It's a cool place. It's a weird place, but that's what makes it cool. I enjoyed it, but I'm glad we didn't go through the drive-thru because that would have taken at least as long and we would have missed out on so much.
Yeah, I didn't show it, but the drive-thru line, it was like 3 lanes wide and went really far. I bet it was probably an hour-long wait from when you get into the drive-thru lane to when you get your food. And I would have been really disappointed. I feel like the restaurant itself is what sold it for me.
Yeah.
So, we're going to a fancy place tonight. I'm not going to say where yet, but it's for our anniversary dinner. And I just called to move the reservation because we're running a little bit later than planned. And I'm almost certain the recording, where they give you the options to, press 1 for this, press 2 for that. I'm almost certain it was James Earl Jones.
It could be. It is a very famous restaurant.
It's a very famous restaurant. I swear, if it's not James Earl Jones, it's someone who has his exact doppelganger voice.
Oh, that was the other thing. There were a whole bunch of pictures around the last restaurant, whatever it was called, of like different celebrities with the owner that were all signed.
Yeah, there was Jim Belushi was the only one that I recognized. There was only like a cluster of 3 where we were standing.
Yeah,
There's
also somebody from Days of Our Lives, and a few different famous people. I'm bad at remembering famous people.
I was most excited about Jim Belushi. There was underneath his was some band. I didn't look close enough to see who it was, but it looked like an 80s rock band. And there was another one above him that I didn't recognize. That might have been the Days of Our Lives one.
No, that one was around the corner.
I really want a picture with Jim Belushi. So if anybody knows Jim Belushi and wants to set that up,
I've got some bad news.
John Belushi is who you're thinking of. Jim's
Okay.
still alive.
I thought it was backwards.
John Belushi is the one from the Blues Brothers that died.
Who's the one that was on It's Up Girls?
Neither of them. That was John Ritter.
Oh, that is very much who I thought that picture was. I'm bad at remembering famous people.
I would love a picture with John Ritter too, but yeah, that one I don't think I could make happen. I would need a shovel.
Yeah.
But if any of you know Jim Belushi, he is like a splitting image of my dad, and watching According to Jim growing up, everything, it was like watching my dad. So I think that would be awesome having a photo with Jim. So that's all. So she says we're here. I fell asleep for a little bit, but this doesn't seem like Maryland.
We're not going to Maryland.
You said we were going to Maryland.
I don't believe
You
I
said we were
that.
going to be in the Annapolis, and Annapolis is in Maryland.
I see the confusion.
So is that not where we're going?
No.
Well, I brought all of my Maryland and Annapolis stuff for today.
What does that mean? What is your Maryland and Annapolis stuff entail?
It's shirts that say Maryland.
I feel like you could wear that here.
But if we're not in the Annapolis, then it would just feel out of place.
No, it just looks like you're a tourist from a different place.
I don't want to be a tourist.
You are a tourist.
Not really. I'm a former resident of this town.
Okay.
So we are right at the Circle Center. This big fancy Hilton hotel. Alright, so we made it into this fancy hotel room. Gonna give you a little tour. It's small but super fancy. We've got cabinets. Is there a fridge in here?
Probably under the microwave.
Oh, we got a fridge. Fancy, fancy. Coffee stuff. Fancy bath. This bathroom is like the size of the room. Alright, let's see what we've got for a view. Do we get to see the circle? We do not. This is like a weird gap in between buildings with buildings all four sides around it.
Why is he still working? Tell him to go home.
This guy needs to go home.
He is committed.
If you, sir, are watching this video, it is time for you to go home. Brick is loose. I want to lift it up to see if there's treasure underneath. So that is today's video. We've got another 500 miles to drive tomorrow. So if you like this, tomorrow's video is going to be very similar. Also, it's going to start, well, we'll just leave it at that. We'll see you tomorrow.